Evening, folks. I appreciate you putting me first on the agenda here, as I have another engagement I need to get to, so appreciate that. I'm going to, even though we have the slide in front of you, I will walk you through and read. Nate Sears, my name's Nate Sears, Deputy Director of Natural Resources. The Natural Resources Department is responsible for the oversight of virtually all activities around the town's shoreline and waterways. Our work includes such activities as management of Rock Harbor Marina, issuance of commercial shellfish licenses, natural resource management and planning, private aquaculture management, maintenance of town landings, shellfish propagation, management of navigation aids, issuance of mooring permits, management of water safety programs, including the lifeguards at the beaches, collection of parking and OSB fees, enforcement of beach regulations, and shorebird monitoring program. Some of the things that are new or coming up this year, we just recently finished, or we have substantial completion at the Rock Harbor Wharf Improvement Project. I think the town should be really proud that once again we have a thriving, working waterfront that is safe and resilient for future conditions. I'm really proud of that project. If you haven't been down to Rock Harbor, please come down and visit. There's a section that's set aside for the public to watch the fishing boats come and go as they unload their catch. Nauset Beach North, the resident section of the Oversand Vehicle Program, opened up on June 12th. It has about a third of a mile of beach. We can fit approximately 150 vehicles at the moment. There's been a couple days where we needed to stage vehicles off-site as it filled up. But as the shorebirds begin to fledge, we'll be able to increase the length of that beach and hopefully accommodate more vehicles daily. Nauset Estuary reopened to shell fishing on June 12th. It had been closed prior to that for a harmful algal bloom of red tide. If you haven't already gotten your recreational shellfish permit, I encourage you to do so. We have a thriving quahog fishery in Town Cove. Just last week, the Shellfish Department put out an additional 600,000 quahogs, so there's plenty of quahogs out there at the moment. What's coming up? If you haven't been down to a concert at Nauset Beach on a Monday night, it's a fabulous time. We got these great bands, 6:30 to 8:30. They're free, and they just started the first one on July 6th, and those will run through August 31st. And the most exciting news I probably have, and it really hasn't been released to the public yet because it's forecasted information, and every day we have a little more definitive idea of when it's going to happen, but based on hatch dates and present conditions with the shorebirds out on the beach, we're thinking around July 20th that we'll be able to get the Nauset Beach South open to oversand vehicles. That will be with the HCP, which is the Habitat Conservation Permit, which allows flexibilities in the guidelines with the Fish and Wildlife Service. The HCP requires that every vehicle have a person over the age of 16 to walk in front of their vehicle to pass unfledged broods of piping plovers. The HCP period will probably last about 10 days, so if you're going to be coming from July 20th to about August 1st, be prepared to have to walk by broods and have certain windows of access and egress to get onto the beach. But we're comfortable with the thought that by first week of August, we should be able to lift the HCP and just have general conditions for access. Of course, we will have to plan with the town of Chatham in terms of when they will be opening up their section. There is limited profile on certain sections of the beach for parking vehicles at the moment. Trail 4 is going to be probably the most convenient location for vehicles to park, and we think we can fit about 150 vehicles right off the bat out there. This time of year, if you're going to be going to town landings, I should also mention that there are a handful of landings that have parking restrictions in place. Those restrictions are in place from June 15th to September 15th. If you want to get familiar with which landings require parking permits, the parking permit that's required is the resident beach parking permit that you can purchase at the sticker office over at the DPW building from 9 to 1. If you look up parking regulations on the town website, there'll be a map and regulations that go with each landing. I'm happy to take questions from anybody that is interested in anything natural resource related.
I have one.
Please.
Just, could you talk a little bit about the herring run and what went on there this year and what the future holds for it?
Yeah. Uh, We're at 30% design right now, which is kind of the threshold that where you begin permitting, right? And that steers the path for,
You might start a little bit further at the beginning about.
oh, yeah,
the
sure,
project.
sorry, man. It's gotta have been 3 years ago that we were awarded a $1 million grant from the Natural Resource Conservation, a federal grant to revitalize our herring run and kind of look at what needs to be done, look at what we need to do to have rationing of the water from Pilgrim Lake and the Lonnie's Pond. What's happening is we're starting to see lower levels of water in Pilgrim Lake, but also the silting in of the run. That run was engineered in 1920s. It's done us well to date, and surprising enough, as we investigate what our needs are to repair the run, it's going to be very similar engineering that they used in the 1920s. So they kind of nailed it back then. We want to make sure that we're not, we want to be as natural as possible. It's a complicated project because of the access over private property in order to get into the run, as the town property is pretty much the limits of the run itself. So there's definitely limitations with means and methods for what we can do in there to accomplish our goal. We've been meeting with the engineers frequently, monthly, and looking at alternatives. We're pretty much at the point where we're going to be reviewing it with the Division of Marine Fisheries next week. Once we get their rubber stamp on, our preferred alternative, we'll be bringing it forward to Conscom and start that permit process with the hope that we could have construction as early as winter '27.
How was the count this year?
Terrible. Yeah, and there's no rhyme or reason. Talking with Brad Chase, the diadromous fish expert at DMF, even though last year was, we had such low water in Pilgrim Lake that we struggled, and we also lost Scott Johnson, our longtime heron warden. We struggled with water level. We just did not have the water to get the fish in last year. This year, we had the water. We were in a great situation. We were comfortable with the fact that it was easy for the fish to pass. We only had small pockets of fish, 100 here, 100 there. But even if we had a terrible year last year with water levels, we wouldn't see the repercussions of that for like another 5 to 7 years, right? As these fish become adults and return, based on what Brad was telling me. So we don't have any rhyme or reason why we didn't have a great run, and whether these fish just happened to go and up another tributary or another terminal pond and found their way into Brewster or wherever they ended up. Hard to say. But tremendous year for glass eels.
Really?
Yeah.
Anybody, Michael?
Just a comment, I might have scared the eel, the herring off this year. I do the herring count, and I wasn't unfortunately able to see any this year.
Wow.
But again, that's a small period of time. I do it on a Wednesday, so there's the rest of the week, but it was very, very sparse this year, unfortunately.
Mr. Chair, I'm not seeing any questions from the crowd because they probably all love Nate like we do. But I just want to say for the crowd and anyone listening, but that bullet under what's new, Rock Harbor Wharf Improvement, Nate put a lot of effort into that. Working with Verizon, working with Eversource, getting poles set, engineering work, adjusting with contractor activities, and so.
Bad weather.
Bad weather. We had a certain blizzard for those that might not have been here with 4.5 days of power outage. But again, enjoy it, as Nate said.
Yeah, and it's not Nate. We have an incredible team
We
here.
do. We do.
If I can add to that, I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time so far this summer on making sure I get out to the beach. So thank you for opening up the North Beach. That is not just for residents, it's also open to any property owners in town. And the way your kids, and they're not kids, but the young people that you hire, the seasonal people, as we know, it's a big challenge getting seasonal employees. they're extremely professional. The way they run it, and I've had to even go back to the parking lot and wait, and then come back, and the way they orchestrate it even at your toll booths there. The kids you train and hire, or the young people you train and hire, and see Rich here too, it's a great staff. So thank you.
Appreciate it. By the time we get them all hired, the season's
Yeah.
usually over, so.
Anybody in the audience want to ask or comment? You need,
There we go.
Nice.
Thanks, Dan.
I guess Nate, you're,
Thank you.
Next to Simon.
I'm gonna head off to talk about working waterfronts with
All
some of
right.
the other harbor masters, so have a good night.
thank you. Who has this one?
Rick.
It's online. It's online.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Can
Tom.
everyone hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for letting me do this remotely. I wish I could be there, but luckily I printed this out because I don't get to see the mirror the same way.
Hey, Tom, just for the audiences, this is Tom DeServo, who is our, I'm going to have the title wrong.
Let me say it because Tom always gets mad. He's the Director of Recreation, Culture, and Community
Right.
Affairs.
So,
Vince.
We'll get it right one of these days.
I know.
But so what we do is the Orleans Recreation, Culture, and Community Events Department fosters a healthy, vibrant community by offering diverse and affordable programs and events that promote physical activity, community engagement, and lifelong well-being for residents of all ages. And one thing I wanted to highlight is from 2024 to 2025, we increased program participation from 2,230 to 2,953. And we had 45 programs in 2024. And this year, or this past year in 2025, we have 80 programs. And we're on pace to get roughly 3,500 registrations for 2026 already. And we're hopeful that we'll have somewhere between 90 and 95 programs for all of 2026. And what's new or has changed is we've expanded our involvement in community events by enhancing programming, supporting initiatives led by other departments and organizations, while also advancing the $3.6 million Eldridge Park renovation project that's anticipated to break ground in September. And just to highlight some of the supporting initiatives is we've worked with the Fire Rescue Association on the Pancake Breakfast most recently. We've helped out with the July 4th parade. We've partnered with a local Pilates instructor as well as Mazzio Construction to offer Pilates and sauna every Tuesday morning at Nauset Beach. And then we also have our Object Trouvé art show. And new this year, we're working with the health department on a community resource fair, and that should be in September. And then another thing I'd like to highlight is I mentioned the Eldridge Park renovation project. Just this afternoon, thanks to Mike Salitro and Mark Reel for really getting involved the last few weeks to make sure the procurement process has gone smoothly. And just this afternoon, the bids have opened up on the town website, and we are now accepting them. So this is a really exciting time in Orleans.
and I'll just lead this off by just, for people who haven't been following the history of recreation in Orleans, Tom has brought in the age of enlightenment to recreation for Orleans. So it's been a really remarkable development. Somebody,
No.
okay.
I was just trying to shut off my phone.
Would you like, if you'd like to ask,
Yeah, you have,
Oh, you actually
if
do.
people can't hear you if you don't.
So I know Tom a little bit. Tom, you might know my name. I'm Chris Emerson, and I'm a pickleballer, and I've worked, in support of the efforts at Eldridge broadly, but of course selfishly pickleball. So glad to hear the bids are open. Did see that break ground in September. Is that realistic at this stage?
Yes, yes, it
Okay.
is. So we're very hopeful that the week after Labor Day weekend, we're going to be able to break.
Okay. and you think that we'll be up and running in time for spring for the courts?
Realistically, May.
Realistically, what? Sorry?
May, in May.
May, okay, okay, good. That sounds like good news. Thank you.
Are you the person who can answer my question about why the Jonathan Young windmill is never open?
I am not. I'm sorry.
It might be you, no? Okay, we'll find out who can answer that question.
Good suggestion.
Anybody else for Tom?
Matter of fact, I can add and maybe give people a little time to think of other questions, but, you know, as Tom pointed out in his title, or Kim did, I mean, it's broad, not only just rec, but culture and community events. And a lot of behind-the-scenes things were happening, particularly on the website. If you go to the website and you look at our calendar now, it merges every type of event possible, not just select board meetings that are very important. However, you know, community events, you know, whether it be, you know, 4th of July parade, or, you know, as Tom mentioned, the events that he's added to. So there's been a lot of effort, and again, Mark Reel, a number of folks, Amanda is in the front of the audience, really did some rewiring, as they call it, in web terminology to pull all these things together. So we're trying to do those front-facing things to get the word out.
Yeah, and just Kevin, you reminded me of something that I wanted to bring up. I have a little bit of a bone to pick with you because the townwide yard sale, we had over 50 addresses registered for this at the last week of June, and it was a phenomenal event. Everyone really enjoyed it.
Mine wasn't.
But I remember at the meeting how happy and excited you were, and I did not see your address on the yard sale. So I'm hopeful next year you're going to be involved in it.
Well, actually, here's the other thing is, could we do another one in the fall? I do think there's enough interest. I mean, certainly after the summer, I'm seeing a few heads nodding, you know, might be a good
We
opportunity.
can look into it.
So, and I will be on that list if it's done in the fall.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Michael.
I would just chime in on the cultural part. Tom, you didn't mention, but Tom and his team were very helpful, where we just dedicated an indigenous marker in our Veterans Park and had the Wampanoag singers and dancers at our farmers market. So to add to your cultural part, we appreciate it, and thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the select board or the audience? And I should note, just for the record, that our select board, Mark Matheson, did find his way in here, and just for the official record.
It's tough when you're a working person and you
Yes, it
start
is.
having meetings at 2 in the afternoon for the town. You know, that's, can't happen if you're working.
I guess, is that it for Tom? Thank you, Tom.
And if I could just add one last final thing is, I know Nate mentioned it, and I'm sure it's a prevailing theme with all the department heads in town, but I have a phenomenal team, whether that's seasonal people or my full-time people, and we can't do what we do if it wasn't for them. So I think everybody would agree that we have a phenomenal team here in Orleans. So
Absolutely.
thank you all, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. Good night. That brings us to
Hi, Judy Wilson, Director of the Orleans Council on Aging and Senior Center. So we provide support, enrichment, and advocacy for older adults in Orleans and their care partners. And the goal is really to help build connection and community and support healthy aging. We offer a lot of different programs and activities, which include our Rock Harbor Respite Supportive Daycare Program, which is a regional program, and we have intermunicipal agreements in place to make that truly regional. We have a transportation program, we offer lunch services, we have fitness classes 5 days a week, and we offer an assortment of recreation, education, and cultural programs, and perhaps one of the most important is our outreach services, where we work out in the community with some of our more vulnerable older adults. In 2025, we served 1,260 individual Orleans residents through our activities at the senior center. And then one of the big things that happened this last year is we received a grant. We worked with the Friends of Orleans Senior Center and received a $20,000 grant to implement a caregiver support initiative. We began offering free respite services on a monthly basis, and we expanded our caregiver support. Through a monthly program, we provide food cards and are contacting caregivers on a regular basis. This year, we also turned over $210,000 to the town's general fund, which are revenues we collected through our supportive daycare program. All of the other money that we collect stays because we don't get town funds to support the other programs. So we use fees and monies that we get to support our programming initiatives. This next year, we are looking to update our communications and expand transportation services. We're hoping to get going with social media. We would like to use social media to do some education around aging issues, not just promote our programs. And the COA board, one of their goals for the coming year, and I believe this is correlates with the comprehensive plan, is the process of conducting a community needs assessment for older adults and initiating a strategic planning process for the COA. And they would love input from the public on that process. Just a couple of highlights from the last year. Our Tuesday evenings, we have now been open for a full year of Tuesday evenings. The programs that we offer on Tuesday evenings, we did that to make sure that we are reaching the 60 really to 68-year-olds who work during the day, to Mark Matheson's point. So we offer fitness classes and other programs. We make sure that we offer Shine services to provide the turning 65 Medicare consultations for people who are working. And we do that on Tuesday evenings. And so that's been a really positive change this last year. We're struggling a little bit with filling some of our part-time and lower-paying positions. And the other difficulty we have is that we have wait lists for most of our programs. I would say 80 to 85% of our programs are fully enrolled, and we have wait lists for all of those programs. I like to tell the board I think those are good problems to have, but nonetheless, they do create some hard feelings when people can't get into the programs that they want. We are looking at implementing an online registration program. The board has asked us to consider doing it by lottery. We currently now open enrollment at certain times and certain dates to try and make it a fair and equitable process so that everybody has an opportunity to get into something that they want to do at the senior center. And we also have really tried to prioritize digital equity because so many of the people that we serve don't use computers and online platforms. So we're trying to figure out a system that will really adhere to that, the integrity of maintaining digital equity for those we serve. That's it.
Anybody have anything to say or ask? The audience?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
If I would just say, having a mom who's enjoyed so many services, the one highlight of her week was always going to the knitters group. Monday afternoon, if anybody out there is a knitter, it's a great little group.
I think it's your turn, Tabby.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. I have a little poster here with a little story behind it. So for the last few months, the Board of Trustees have wanted different staff members to present to the board what their jobs are. And the last month we had Jenny Fulcher, and she wanted to go along with the theme we've had tonight, highlight the staff. So this is a poster of all of a few of the staff members that you might not see because they're part-time. They're here on Saturdays and on evenings. So, our representative, the liaison to the board, Michael Herman, he said that would be a good idea to bring it here tonight, so I'll just...
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I can, it's been a great experience and a learning experience by having each of the staff present what they do, and the amount of, I think Tavi will talk about it tonight, just a past rainy day, how many people you had as visitors.
Yes, yes. Yes, it actually, I have to admit, in the beginning, when the trustees wanted all the staff to talk about what they did, I says, oh, they're not going to want to do it. They are so committed to public service, but they don't like all the time to comment on that. They just like to diligently work at it. So it was wonderful because they realized how enjoyable it was, and it was a great opportunity. So what do we do at Snow Library? So it was hard to put on a single slide. So we provide information in various formats I'll go through, educational programs, and entertainment. So some of the resources we have, I mean, print books, newspapers, books on CD, ebooks, DVD, streaming music, streaming video, audiobooks, playaway devices, research databases, a library of things, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that now has up to 33 items in it. And believe it or not, puzzles. Puzzles are very popular, especially on rainy days, and sometimes people just like to come into the library to do puzzles. So who we serve, that's an easy one. We serve everyone who comes in. Anyone who walks in the door, anyone who calls, anyone who emails, through any contact at all. And we have embraced wholeheartedly the motto of the New York Public Library that everyone is welcome. We serve everyone. Libraries are for everyone. So just some statistics. So last year we had a little over 97,000 visitors come to the library annually. And so how many individuals this year from July 1st last year to June 30th of this year? Again, about 97,000. We were hoping we could get up to 100,000, but at least we're consistent. So in the average, in the winter, we have no less than 200 people coming in per day. That's about like 1,500 to 1,700 people a week. And then in the summer, that number goes up. 300 to 400 come in per day, with occasional low 500s. And actually on July the 6th, Monday, July the 6th, probably because it was after the long holiday weekend, we had 5 short of 600 people come in. 595 people came in. And that was only on a day when we were open from 10 to 5. It wasn't even our late night. And a lot of it, of course, depends on what's going on at the library, what the weather is, and so forth. Holdings. So we have total print holdings, 57,000, roughly. Non-print, about 11,000. Total print materials, 104,500. Interlibrary loans, 30,000 we do annually. And the total number of programs we held at the library this year, including Professor Holbrook's program, 602. And the attendance for those programs, 15,000 annually. So what's new or changed this year? Physical materials, we added 32,000 roughly. And for non-print materials, electronic materials, which are shared by the network, we added about 733. This year, we also have a new, it's a new collection, really, you'd call it. It's a seed library. And we partnered with the Orleans Agricultural Council. About 80 people so far have taken advantage of that, each coming in and taking about 2 or 3 different types of seeds. It's all done on the honor system. People also bring in seeds as well. Library of Things, 45 items currently, and we're adding more. I'll mention some of the new ones we're doing. Just a note, so Assistant Director Kaimi Lum was contacted by the New York Times back in May. They were doing an article on libraries of things in public libraries, and they wanted to have a very diverse range of libraries. And in the searches they were doing, specifically the mushroom foraging kit, Snow Library came up, and so it was in a New York Times article, so we're very, very happy about that. Good publicity for that. What are some of the items we have, diverse items in the Library of Things? Again, so many, but just want to highlight some of them. We have baking sheets and baking pans. We have brush lettering kits. We have a Blu-ray player. We have a fly tying kit, a food dehydrator, Frisbees, mixers, a sewing kit, a soil testing meter. We have a therapy lamp, a tool kit. We have all sorts of sewing devices, double-pointed knitting needles, binoculars, bunt pans. Some of the more popular items, an ice cream maker, very popular in the summer, of course. We have probably our most popular item, a metal detector. The only problem is you can hardly ever get it because it's always checked out. It literally goes from one patron to the next. And then finally, surprisingly, a ukulele, very, very popular item. So what did we add this year? Well, the knitting needles were new this year, the kite, the ice cream maker, and the children's toy knitting loom. And puzzles, that's another thing that we really started doing this year. And we sort of did it as an experiment to see how that would work. And they've just been going out like you wouldn't believe. Adult programs this year, well, we have so many, just basically lifetime learning run by the Friends of Snow Library is so popular. The diversity of the programs, it's everything, history, science, literature, you name it. We were very pleased this year to host a 6-part creative development series that was a collaboration with the Provincetown Commons and the Community Development Partnership, which was held at Snow Library, and we were very happy to be a venue for that. A great, very popular program called Cut the Cord, which was about converting cable into streaming services. And then finally, I think our winter movie series on Wednesdays, where we showed everything from The Naked Gun to Downton Abbey. And in the spring, we had Friday matinees, classic series like Citizen Kane and Philadelphia Story, all very well attended. And then Device Advice, that was new this year, and that was really magnificent. Very well attended. The Cape Cod Tech students were very enjoyable to interact with. We had many people, many return visitors, very knowledgeable, and really the paragon for customer service. And we'd love to see that continue because we've had.
Paragon is a stretch, but I'll take it.
Yeah, no, it really, I'll tell you, they were interacting with everybody, and I think sometimes people were coming in just to talk to them.
Exactly. It was good for them too, believe me.
Yeah, it was wonderful experience for everybody. And then let's see, youth services. So this year we had a program called Junk Journaling, and what that is basically it's repurposing recycled, repurposed materials like old book pages, grocery receipts, ticket stubs, fabric scraps, and you basically make a diary and you use that as a diary. And then music and movement, where participants sang and danced. It was for toddlers. And so that was the first time really we reached out to that group and with a program like that. So what's coming up? What's new? So the Orleans Community Refrigerator is coming up. That was initiated and it's going to be administrated by the Orleans Health and Human Services Department. We're very happy to host. We think it will be great when it starts. And also an electronic bulletin board that's going to be inside the library's vestibule that will have information for people. So it's just one more way to get the information out there. Let's see, new items we're planning this year for the Library of Things: a button-making machine, a Dremel kit, which is their rotary tools for cutting, grinding, sanding, gluing. They're very popular, and an induction stovetop. And the idea for that came actually from a meeting right here in this room. It was the Climate Action Roadmap staff workshop on June 4th. And so that idea was talked about, and so we've gone ahead and gotten that, and that's going to be added this year. Just quickly, some upcoming programs. On Wednesday, July 22nd, we have the wisdom of the popular hits of the 1960s and 70s. So they're all our favorite songs from that period that there's hidden themes behind them that people might not be aware of. And then on July 24th, we have a local historian, of course, Ron Peterson, and he will be presenting Tracing Massachusetts' Leading Role in Our Nation's Struggle for Independence. That's one of a few programs that we're having to celebrate the anniversary of the nation this year. And then just one final one coming up on August 19th. Local author Susanna Graham Pye will present a lecture from her new book, For the Unremembered, A Journey of Reflection into Cape Cod's Connection to Slavery. And youth services, this is exciting too. So at the middle school, they have a Dungeon and Dragons program, and they were looking to continue that during the summer when school is not in session. And so we're going to provide them with that space at the library, and it's coming up, within a week or so. And then we're going to have an interesting program called Teaching Life Skills to Children. They probably refer to it as adulting skills, non-digital skills, lost art. So teaching children how to tell time using an analog clock, sewing a button, and reading script or cursive writing rather than just block printing. And I think that's about it. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
I've got one.
Okay.
Just curious what the mix is these days between digital book borrowing and old-fashioned book borrowing.
So digital increases every year. I buy more every year. Many of our patrons who used to come into the library, they're coming in for other things now, maybe some of the programs and stuff. They still do borrow some books, but we have had some people who just use Overdrive and download ebooks or audiobooks. We still have a robust print collection, and our circulation is very good. Most of the Cape libraries, it's like that as well. So, we're maintaining the print, but it's very clear that the non-print media is at least keeping pace, if not increasing a little bit.
Thank you.
Tabby, one quick
Yes,
one.
sure, Ken.
How many large print format books do you have? Because I know there's a number of sections with large print format that helps a lot of people with.
So we have quite a whole array of them. Most of them downstairs. As far as like a number goes, I probably want to say like a few hundred. And we have a new book section. We feature those. It's one of the few standing orders I have as well. So in addition to purchasing individual titles, I also have it on standing order so that we get. An interesting thing, though, about the large print, they're almost impossible to weed from the collection if you're looking at circulation. They all go out, all high circulation numbers. It's very hard to make room. We've pretty much maxed out all our room in both of the areas. So we basically, we have our large print books until they literally fall apart and we can't have them there anymore, and so we're replacing them. But
Anybody else? Michael?
Yeah, just curious, what's the number one genre that you're lending out?
Well, fiction has always been higher circulation than nonfiction. In nonfiction, I would say it's probably between history in general, in a broad sense, and biography. And so the library can run reports on what our circulation numbers are, and I tend to buy more in that area. I try to buy in all the areas, art, literature, music, and so sports, but I also favor certain areas where our circulation is higher. So I would say history and biography of the nonfiction, but fiction is still, that's our number one highest circulation, fiction and mystery.
And if I can just follow up that, what would you say your number one resource, now that you're evolving, which is, I think is phenomenal, and you're diversifying into all these different, whether it's programming, whether it's the library of things, what is your biggest used resource, would you say?
I would say, I mean, we want to still, and I'm speaking for the staff because I talk to them all the time about this, definitely providing print and non-print materials and newspapers and magazines. We have dedicated users who come in for the magazines and newspapers. But I would say the area where we're increasing the most is programming. That's where we're doing. I mean, we have a part-time staff member who does programming. The friends do all the programming. And programming, more diverse programming, a different variety of programming, that seems to be where we're finding our greatest change. Oh, also, too, I should mention, the library has the Marion Crane Gallery Committee, and so every month there's a new art exhibit. People do enjoy that. They come in all the time for that. And our front display case, right now we have some wonderful jewelry being displayed in there from an artist, and she makes her own jewelry. So that's wonderful too, and that's a draw. But I would say probably programming, which kinds to lead more towards the community center type of ideal, while still trying to maintain the traditional library.
Mr. Chair, if I could
Give Kevin a chance.
just to follow on the community sense, for those that might have been here during the blizzard of that miserable week, for those that could get out and were without interconnection at certain homes, they found just parking in the library got them their
Yes.
hotspot. So you provide more than you realize.
A lot of people park in the parking lot and use the wireless. Many times if you drive past the library when we're not open and you see all these cars there, it's because they're using the wireless, which is 24/7, and we're happy to provide that service.
Michael, did you have something else?
No, I was just saying it was impressive. The reason I asked, it was impressive. There are 15,000 users you said had come to the programming, so over 1,000 a month are on average. Fantastic.
And again,
is
it's
there
the-
a particular programming they're liking, or is it just
No, so
diverse?
many of them. I mean, again, history, current politics, that generates a lot. Some of the science programs generate a lot. Anything with Cape Cod, Professor Holbrook's program, and anything Orleans-related, Cape Cod-related, people do enjoy that. Yeah, but it's a variety. I mean, the literature, the art as well.
Yeah, I popped into Mr. Holbrook's presentation. It was excellent. I heard great comments. I hope you're coming back.
Next summer.
Okay.
As long as the windmill's open.
I just wanted to ask too, and this is really more for your information to give out to people. At the beginning of the meeting, we had Thaddeus Herrick talking about the historical nature and character of the physical Orleans.
Right.
And you're the keeper of some amazing history collections that I'm not sure get accessed as much as they should be. But could you just talk about that? Because you can also get to it online, right?
Sure. The H.K. Cummings photograph collection. They are photographs of early Orleans. They have by subject, so there are houses, homes. There's landscape scenes. There's shipwrecks, and some are outside of Orleans as well. H.K. Cummings used to go around with a camera when cameras were new, and take pictures of everything. And at the time, I think people thought he was taking too many pictures. Why would anybody be interested? But now they're really a time capsule. You see Orleans when it had all dirt roads and some of the buildings. It's really wonderful. And people, too. I mean, so many people like the images of the people in the photos wearing, of course, the period clothes and stuff and seeing that. So that's great as well. Some of it is online. We're in the process of getting it all digitized. That's a process. It's an ongoing process, and we still haven't done it yet. But that would be wonderful if that happens, because then it would be viewable by everyone.
There's also the less-known historical photographer, Snow, right? And don't you have a collection of his as well?
HK Cummings, the only thing we have of Snow is we have some of the genealogy books of Snow.
Okay.
And also, I mean, anything we have in our vertical file, mostly in paper form. I mean, not very many photographs, but it's H.K. Cummings really. That's the big collection. Also, I should mention as well the Cape Codder newspaper, going all the way back to 1946. We have that digitized, but we also have the microfilm. The reason I still do that is because I'm just nervous, because we're the only place that has all of the Cape Codder newspaper. And we get a lot of people coming in sometimes who want to see the newspaper back in the 50s and so forth, or read the articles. And so that's all available.
I guess that's it. Thank you, Tavi.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. Rich Waldo, Director of Public Works, Natural Resource. My topic is not as exciting as my colleagues, but certainly critical to the town of Orleans. I'll be covering wastewater, particularly from the perspective of the Public Works Department. It is a division within Public Works, one of 8 divisions that we have. In terms of what we do, the sewer department oversees the daily operation of treatment and the collection system. We also have a big part in supporting the phased expansion. So both the planning, the construction, the funding resources, kind of nail that down, the permitting. We're very instrumental in a lot of that work. We serve residential customers, businesses. I included industries in there, although that term's a little loose. There are some operations that we have in town that would be considered an industry. And we also serve municipal facilities. We provide them with reliable wastewater collection as well as treatment. When you look at what is new or changed this year, I will say it's very hard to abbreviate what has been done in the past year, but I will say the critical things is particularly the rollout of Phase 2 service area. So for the last 3 years, we've been in the Phase 2 construction phase, which has to do with the Meeting House Pond area. We've been working through that construction. We are finally able, to bring to a point where we're able to operate a pump station, which will allow us to serve that Meeting House Pond area. So back in March of 2026, we issued a notice to connect. Actually, the Board of Health issued a notice to connect to everyone in the Meeting House Pond area. So we are currently going through that process right now of connecting properties. They're given 1 year to connect. That is the guideline from the Board of Health. And you'll continue to see construction in that area, more so just on the private property end rather than in the public right-of-way, particularly on Main Street. We also moved forward with Phase 3 construction. We went out to bid. We had funding in place, again, secured by SRF financing. Construction bids were received at a very competitive rate. As I said in town meeting, I think when Phase 3 project is done, I feel that we'll be able to give back close to $10 million in borrowing authorization, not borrowing authorization, where funds that we won't need, we'll be able to give that back to the town because of the favorable bids that we have, and basically reworking the previous 2 phases of construction to tighten down our construction cost. That project is slated to be under construction later on in this September. We had our first pre-construction meeting in June. We worked with the contractor, basically itemizing what's important to us, what's not important. Their next steps is to give the town submittals of what they plan on using for piping, for valving, and everything related to the sewer construction, as well as the schedule. The schedule is going to be very important, and that will lead us into what's coming. So first off would be a betterment public meeting for Phase 2. Once we finish up a phase of construction, we get the final tally cost of the construction for that phase, and we determine a sewer betterment unit. That is what we're doing right now. Once we get a betterment unit, we determine what an allocated sewer unit is, and from there, we will be able to issue a betterment to all properties in the Phase 2 area. Very similar process that we did in Phase 1. We're going to do it for Phase 2. That public meeting is going to take place in the fall of 2026. We did an informational meeting with all Phase 2 properties earlier in the project, and we let them know what was forthcoming, so that they're expecting this to come forward, and that's going to happen in the fall. Speaking of that informational session, we're going to do just like we did in Phase 2. We're going to have an informational session meeting for all Phase 3 property owners. We're expecting that to take place sometime in September. The point of those information session is just to let everyone that's in the Phase 3 area know what to expect. It is open to the public, to all users. It's really, guided for Phase 3 property owners, but anyone else interested can attend, and urge you to attend, particularly as Phase 3 does involve construction on Route 28. 28, although Main Street was a big headache for us in the last phase, Route 28 is going to be a big headache for the town and travel for the next at least year or so. So what we do with those informational sessions, we talk about what to expect in construction, what kind of equipment out there. We talk about terminology, what to expect, what's a sewer stub, what's a low-pressure system, what's a gravity system. We just kind of give them a lot of information, and then we give them the resources where to find that information, who to call if you have a question, and basically just open the door for them to have resources to call for any questions that they have. There's going to be a lot of construction right outside their doorstep. We want them to understand what's going on, and also inform them of what to expect for information coming out. As I mentioned, 28, I'm just going to use this as a public opportunity to let people know that Phase 3 sewer construction pretty much entails work on Route 28 from Thompson Road intersection all the way up to basically the Aries Lane area.